Hi guys, welcome back to FCAT Master channel, and here we are back with another video on weekly current affairs series. So this week a lot happened in the all around the world, from bombing in Iran to to volcano eruption in Indonesia, Air India flight accident, South Africa winning its first World Cup trophy, and besides that, our golden boy Neeraj Chopra is back on the game by winning the Paris Diamond League. So here are quick claims of whatever happened around the world this week. और ये सारे current affairs which I'm sharing today will be helpful for you for all government exams, whether it's FCAT, CDS, CGL, MTS, CPO, state PCS, सबके लिए these are equally important and they have been curated that way only. So the very first news which was there, it was Operation Rising Lion. So ऑपरेशन राइजिंग लाइन क्या था? अब हम सब जानते हैं कि ईरान ईरान और इसराइल के बीच में एक ऑलमोस्ट वॉर स्टार्ट हो चुका है. सॉरी फॉर माय हैंडराइटिंग, बट हाँ, ईरान और इसराइल के बीच में एक वॉर स्टार्ट हो ही चुका है. इसराइल अटैक्ड ऑन ईरान, डिस्ट्रॉइंग इट्स सेवरल न्यूक्लियर साइट्स. तो उस ऑपरेशन का नाम, द नेम ऑफ दैट ऑपरेशन विच इसराइल गेव was Operation Rising Lion. After Operation Rising Lion, another operation which was in news was Operation Sindhu. अब ऑपरेशन सिंधु क्या है? ऑपरेशन सिंधु बेसिकली वो ऑपरेशन है जिसके अकॉर्डिंग इंडिया ने लॉन्च किया था टू इवैक्यूएट सिटीजन्स फ्रॉम ईरान. अब जैसा कि हम जानते हैं कि अगर कभी भी किसी कंट्री में कोई भी अनस्टेबिलिटी आती है तो उधर बहुत सारे फॉरेन नेशनल्स भी रह रहे होते हैं. So it becomes responsibility of that foreign nation's government to take them out of that country. So India, following that lines, launched Operation Sindhu, through which it evacuated its citizens from Iran. So these were two very important operations that were in use. Operations are a very hot topic. मतलब कि नाम दे देंगे एग्जाम्स में, which country led it, what was the purpose of it. So it becomes important to learn them. Now, after these operations, we have to see what were few nuclear sites जो इसराइल ने अटैक करी थी ईरान में. So 3 important nuclear sites exist in Iran, which is Natanz, Fordo, Honda. इसके अलावा there is Arak and Isfana. अब ये देखिए, Natanz is here, Fordo is above Natanz, then we have Arak, Isfana and Bushehr. इन सब न्यूक्लियर साइट्स के नेम्स याद रखना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, एंड इफ वी कैन लर्न वेयर आर दे लोकेटेड, लाइक इन विच ऑर्डर, it becomes a cherry on top. So we'll start with first nuclear site is Arak. On the right of it is Fordo, below it is Natanz, below Natanz is Isfana, and below Isfana is Bushehr. Now न्यूक्लियर, अब बेसिकली इतना ज्यादा स्यापा है क्यों रिगार्डिंग न्यूक्लियर साइट्स? Because Iran is not a registered nuclear state. Iran has not signed a non-proliferation treaty. So जो भी वो nuclear sites बना रहा है, that are illegal and are not known to the world. The world knows it, but it claims that they're underground and we can't find them. So Israel is bombing those sites. Now coming to next, Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी बहुत ज्यादा न्यूज में थी बिकॉज ऑफ द सैडली इंसिडेंट और ट्रेजेडी दैट हैपेंड इन इंडिया of the Air India 171 aircraft getting crashed in a government medical college's hostel building, and it caused a lot of casualties. Approximately 273 people died in that crash, and all the passengers except one in that aircraft died. तो एयरक्राफ्ट एक्सीडेंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन ब्यूरो इस वजह से न्यूज में. व्हाट इज एयरक्राफ्ट एक्सीडेंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन ब्यूरो? it is an primary agent. It is a primary agency which deals with investigating aviation accident, and established कब हुई थी? 2012 में अंडर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सिविल एविएशन. यहाँ पे टाइपिंग एरर हो गया, तो यहाँ पे एन आएगा. अंडर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सिविल एविएशन इट वाज एस्टैब्लिश्ड. Besides that, it operates independently from regulators. It uh, operates independently. और इसका objective क्या है? Its objective is to ensure finding and following international standards set by ICAO. ICAO क्या है? International Civil Aviation Organization ने जो भी स्टैंडर्ड सेट करे हैं एयरक्राफ्ट के, दैट इज मेट बाय एयरक्राफ्ट, इट इंश्योर्स दैट. बिसाइड्स दैट, इसका सोल ऑब्जेक्टिव इज एक्सीडेंट प्रिवेंशन, नॉट असाइनिंग ब्लेम. सो एक्सीडेंट एयरक्राफ्ट एक्सीडेंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन ब्यूरो क्या करता है? वी हैव हर्ड अबाउट ब्लैक बॉक्स प्रेजेंट इन द एयरक्राफ्ट. सो ACIB will go in, check the black box, identify कि किस वजह से एक्सीडेंट हुआ, and ensure in the future that doesn't take place. So it would ensure that all other aircrafts that are operating now are at a benchmark with this, are now not having the issue which this accident aircraft had. तो ये ब्लेम असाइन नहीं कर सकता कि इसकी गलती है उसकी गलती है. इट्स सोल पर्पस इज एक्सीडेंट प्रिवेंशन. और अब 2012 में आया था ACIB, तो उससे पहले भी कुछ चाहिए था. सो उससे पहले भी हैड DGCA which handled the investigation. Now after this, coming to our next topic, the hot topic of this week was G7 summit. Our honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi was there for G7 outreach summit in Kanaskis in Canada. So after G7 summit के अलावा Prime Minister went on a 3-nation tour, basically Cyprus, Canada and Croatia. Cyprus and Croatia were bilateral meet which he had. Besides that, in Canada, he went there with the purpose of attending the G7 outreach summit. Upcoming to what is G7? G7 originally began as a group of 6 countries, but it was established, it was originally started as group of 6 countries, but it became G7 in 1975. So this should be corrected that it became G7 in 1975 and not G6 in 1975. So initial 6 countries were US, France, Italy, Japan, UK and West Germany. फिर 75 में Canada joined them and it became G7. And for a while it was also G8 because in 1997 Russia joined the G7. But 2014 में Russia was excluded from this group's meet because of Crimea annexation which Russia did. And again, after 2014, it became G7. So it had a whole rounded trip journey. Now, European Union as well participates in the group's work, but European Union is not allowed to hold the rotating presidency. इससे अब हमें क्या पता चलता है कि G7 में rotating presidency goes, मतलब कि one country then another, it goes on rotation. So another important thing to know is who is the current president. Current president is Canada and it was the 51st summit that was held in Canada. Besides that, it is also important to know the past president as well as future president. So in 2024, presidency of 50th G7 was with Italy. And in 2026, 52nd G7's presidency would be with France. अब आगे चलते हैं to learn नई दिशा. नई दिशा is an initiative which was also in news. So what is it? Nai Disha is basically an outreach initiative which was launched by Delhi Police. अब नई दिशा के अकॉर्डिंग क्या कर रही है कि Delhi Police will visit homes of school students who have dropped out of school, understand why they left school, and will motivate them to return back to school. And so that's why it's called Nai Disha, a path back to learning. So it's a very unique scheme and a very important scheme because it will help improve the schooling rate of people as well as improving the country's literacy rate and making countries skilled. Now coming to next, Manusmriti was also in news. Now coming to why was it in news? Because Vice Chancellor of Delhi University clearly stated that Manusmriti won't be included in its one of its courses in which students would be taught Mahabharata, Ramayana, but not Manusmriti. So that's why it was in news, and it becomes important for us to know about what is Manusmriti. So Manusmriti is also known as Manav Dharma Sutra or Laws of Manu. It basically is a Sanskrit text belonging to the Dharma Sutra. Dharma Sutra, what is that? Sorry, Dharma Shastra. What is Dharma Shastra? Dharma Shastra is the literary tradition of Hinduism, and it was composed between 2nd to 3rd century. It covers subjects such as social obligation, duties of various castes and of individuals in different stages of life. So it was the first Sanskrit text to be translated into an European language. So this becomes important to know that first Sanskrit text to be translated into an European language. And who translated it? It was by British philologist Sir William Jones in 1794. Now, this is about Manusmriti. Coming to International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, it was in news because it released a report regarding climate risk to Himalayas. So, what is International Center for Integrated Mountain Development? It is an intergovernmental knowledge and learning center working on behalf of the people of Hindu Kush Himalayas. Who are the people of Hindu Kush Himalayas? These are Afghanistan, Bangladeshis, Chinese, Indians, Myanmaris, Nepal, and Pakistan. So basically, the Himalayan belt which goes through these countries is Hindu Kush Himalayas, and it is working on behalf of citizens of these countries, and it was established on 5th December 1983. Its members I have already told you are Afghanistan, Bangladesh, China, India, Myanmar, Nepal, and Pakistan. Coming to its headquarters, it is headquartered at Kathmandu, which is in Nepal. Also, it aims to build and share knowledge to enable countries and communities of Hindu Kush Himalayas to transition to greener, more inclusive, and climate resilient development. So, it basically promotes climate resilient development. Now, plays Meter Wali, Metrovali, Vivashri News. She has been appointed as UK's first female chief of spy agency in 116 years history. So it becomes important because she's the first female chief of spy agency of UK in 116 years of history. She is placed Meter Wali. Next, PM Cyprus visit. So as I told you before, PM had to visit 3 countries, Croatia, Canada, and Cyprus. So the visit started with Cyprus. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Cyprus in 23 years. And he was awarded the Cyprus highest civilian honor, Order of Makarios III. Makarios III. I'm sorry for my pronunciation if I'm pronouncing it wrong. So he has been awarded the highest civilian honor of Cyprus. Also, another important things which happened during the visit were National Payment Corporation of India and Eurobank of Cyprus have signed an MOU to introduce UPI services in Cyprus. Also, National Stock Exchange International Exchange at Gujarat's Gift City to sign an MOU with Cyprus Stock Exchange to enable cross-border flows. इसके बाद it is important to know what is Cyprus. Cyprus is an Eurasian island and it is third largest Mediterranean island after Sicily and Sardinia. इसका capital is Nicosia and highest peak is Mount Olympus. When did it gain independence? It was in 1960. East Cyprus gained its independence. But in 1974, Turkey captured northern Cyprus and now the country remains divided. So Cyprus is here. It is a small island located a part of the Europe continent politically. Geographically, we say that it is in Asian side, but it politically belongs to Europe. Coming to next, SIPRI yearbook findings. So SIPRI released its yearbook, and in it, it was founded that India is the fifth largest country in military expenditure. Ahead of ahead of India, four countries are US, China, Russia, and Germany. Also, it was found that India has more nuclear weapons now than Pakistan, though they are lesser than China. So, what happened in the book? It was mentioned that Pakistan's nuclear weapons remained the same, whereas India increased its share of nuclear weapons, and China increased the share drastically, like at a very quick level. So these were the findings of SIPRI yearbook. Now, another important thing coming from the defense side is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited Mark 1 Alpha, uh, which is a light combat aircraft, will make its maiden flight in mid-July. So first, let us know about what happened. Is first LCA light combat aircraft, which is built at Hull's new production line in Nasik. Hull pehle had only one production line, which was in Bangalore, but now India is expanding its military sector. It is requiring more and more resources for its defense sector. So Hull has also established a new production line in Nasik, and therein the first LCA Mark 1 Alpha, which has been made there, will be making its maiden flight in mid-July. And Hull is also planning to deliver the first LCA Mark 1 Alpha, which is produced in Bangalore, to Indian Air Force in August, after a delay of almost 16 months. Now coming to what is Mark 1 Alpha. It is a 4.5 generation fighter jet. A lot of time in exams, it is being asked like what generation fighter jet it is. So Mark 1 Alpha is a 4.5 generation fighter jet, and it will come with digital radar, warning receiver, external self-protection, jammer pod, superior radars, advanced beyond visual range air-to-air missile, and significantly improved maintainability. So this is about a Mark 1 Alpha. Besides that, India already has Tejas Mark 1. It is about to get Tejas Mark 1 Alpha. Tejas Mark 2 is also in talks of making. AMCA has been in news recently because government is planning to have a public-private partnership in its making. So India is working diligently to expand its military, to expand its defense infrastructure. Now coming to Gati Shakti's biggest cargo terminal was launched recently. Where was it launched? It was in Manesar, Haryana. By whom? Like who made it? It was a joint initiative of Haryana Rail Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited, Haryana State Industrial and Infrastructure Development Corporation, and Gurgaon Metropolitan Development Authority का ये था एक joint initiative. Now besides this, coming to our next news, Gati Shakti, we all know it. Gati Shakti is a government scheme wherein we are planning to connect all our connectivity around the country. Now, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, another use coming from Hull, it has won the bid to make India's small satellite launch vehicles. SSLVs from now on would be built by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. So, New Delhi will be hosting the World Para Athletics Championship 2025 in September, October. And recently, the mascot of it was released by Delhi CM. And the name of the mascot is Viraj. It is this cute elephant which which is shown as a para-athlete, has been unveiled as the mascot. So coming to what World Para Athletics Championship New Delhi 2025, where will it be conducted? It would be in New Delhi. And when 27 September to 5th October, it would be conducted, and the number of this edition is 12. Previous edition was hosted by Japan in 2024. Next, we have euthanasia. So there was a news that UK Parliament has approved euthanasia. Now the approval from House of Lords is required to make it into a full-fledged law. So euthanasia is basically assisted dying. Besides UK, before UK, several other countries have legalized euthanasia. And to name few countries, these are Belgium, Canada, Colombia, Luxembourg, Netherlands, New Zealand, Spain, and Switzerland, as well as 6 states in Australia. Not the whole Australia, but 6 states in Australia have legalized euthanasia. एक movie बनी थी हिंदी की on euthanasia. What movie is it? Do let me know in the comment section. Now, mule accounts. Mule accounts was mentioned in news this week. So, what is mule account? Mule account is basically used by scammers and criminals to launder money, often obtained through illegal activities. So, क्या करते scammer and criminals if they have received some amount of money to not know its source, they basically send that money to an individual account who doesn't knows that money is coming to them, and those people are known as money mulers, and that account is known as mule account. Now coming to Diamond League 2025, we know Neeraj Chopra claimed his first title of 2025 season with a win at Paris Diamond League. So this comes as a happy news for our country and for our golden boy Neeraj Chopra. INS Arnala, another news coming from defense side, INS Arnala, which is India's first anti-submarine warfare shallow water craft, was commissioned into the Eastern Naval Command of the Indian Navy on Wednesday at Naval Dockyard in Visakhapatnam. After whom was it named? It was named after the historic Arnala Fort of Vasai in Maharashtra, and it has a gross tonnage of over 1490 tons. INS Arnala has been designed for a range of anti-submarine warfare operations, including conducting subsurface surveillance, search and rescue missions, and low-intensity maritime operations. So this was all from our news today. So it was all about. This was all we had from our weekly current affairs today. Hope you enjoyed this session. I know it. The slides had a lot of errors. So from next week's onwards, I'll be keen on seeing I don't make any spelling error. And besides that, I'll be uploading this PDF on the FCAT Masters Telegram channel. Do join the channel because we'll be sharing a lot of resources and we'll be learning from each other in this journey. Also, I'm planning on posting some topic science, with science and other subjects related videos on this channel. So do like, share and subscribe to this channel because a lot is coming up and this will definitely enhance your preparation journey and will help you get wherever you want to be, whether it's FCAT, CDS, CGL, or any other government exam you are planning to. These videos are definitely going to help you. So thank you all. We'll be taking the leave. Thank you.